Hello and welcome back. So in this lecture we will be talking about the formal Polish aspect. So what is the formal Polish aspect? It is a really important aspect that Polish people use when they talk to each other, especially if you enter a shop where you don't know anybody there, and then for you they are all stranger and you are for them stranger, so you cannot just enter and talk to them in the normal way. So there's this formal aspect that you can use. You don't have to use it, however, especially if you're not Polish, and people will know that you're not Polish, so you don't have to use it. And even if you don't use it, it's not a big deal. But let's just see the rules of it. Okay, so it's better to say dzień dobry and not cześć. It's not the end of the world if you say siema or cześć when you enter a shop where you don't know anybody. But it's better always to say dzień dobry. However, you cannot enter the shop saying siema mordo. You cannot say that. Why? Because mordo literally translates to dog or bro, you know, like this words that you say between friends, and then it can actually literally translate to fat face. And I don't think you want to say this word entering a shop because it might get really not nice there. You will hear such greetings a lot between friends, thinking they are okay to say just because people say it all the time. This is why I need you to really pay attention. So only stick to the things that you know when you are talking with people, especially if you are in Poland and you are dealing with Polish people in Poland. You cannot just tell them things that they are not used to say. So it's better to be on a safe side and say dzień dobry, for example, or cześć if you are talking to a friend, or if the atmosphere is chill. So sometimes you can go, for example, I don't know, to the gym, and sometimes there in the gym, it's the atmosphere is really chill, and you don't have to use the formality. So you can say just cześć and whatever, and use the non-formal form with people. Why? Because mostly they are all young and they're all like buddies and mordo to each other. However, don't use mordo there as well. Okay, so what's more? There's this that you need to know, and before knowing this, it's better if you know all the conjugation of the present, and especially the present and the imperative. And if you don't know that, you can go and check the basic tenses in Polish, and then you can check my daily verbs. You can check some of them, because there I talk about imperative and some imperative forms, and it's really important to know them before you enter the formal world, because they might be a little bit different. So it's better to know them first, so we don't mix your mind. Anyway, let's start. So pan means Mr. or Sir, and it's male, of course. Panowie means gentlemen, so the plural of pan is panowie. PANI means Mrs. or Madam, and the plural for it is panie, which means ladies. And then you can also say państwo, which means a group of males and females, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Okay, so in a sentence, use pan, pani, panowie, pani, or państwo before the third person verb. So this is why I said you need to know the conjugation, because you're gonna have to know the third person, how to conjugate it, and you have to use it in this form when you're talking about the formal aspect, because you cannot refer the second to the person as the second person. So you cannot say you are, you have to say he is. And we will see example for you to understand. So these are the example. We have the first example, you can look here, non-formal, jak masz na imię. So this is the non-formal, what's your name, jak masz na imię. So this is the verb, and it's conjugated in the second person, but when we move to the formal, we're going to have to add pan before the verb. Why? Because this is the rule. So we have to use pan before the third person verb, and we have to put the verb at the third person. So it becomes jak pan ma na imię. Okay? The second example, gdzie mieszkasz? Where do you live? Gdzie pani mieszka, sorry. So, gdzie mieszkasz? The second person mieszkasz. Gdzie pani mieszka? The third person. So you cannot say gdzie pani mieszkasz, because it's wrong. This is the correct form, okay? Jak się masz? So how are you? Translate to jak się pan ma? How Mr. is feeling, but you're talking to him, but you don't mention the second person. I hope you understand. So yeah, you put the pan before the name and before the verb, and here the verb has się. So you just put the pan here, and then you change the verb to the third person. So jak się pan ma? Because why? Because some verbs have się with them, and you cannot remove the się. All you have to do is put pan or pani or PANOWIE or whatever in front of the verb. Jak się nazywasz? What is your name and what is your full name? So the difference between jak się nazywasz and jak masz na imię is that jak masz na imię means what is your name and simply your first name. And then when you say jak się nazywasz it means that you're asking what is your full name, so with the family name. So jak się nazywasz becomes jak się pan or pani nazywa. Here. Jak się pani nazywa. And this is the third person. Gdzie mieszkacie? Where do you live? You're asking a group of people where do you live. So this is the plural. And you're asking a group of men. So gdzie panowie mieszkają? Why mieszkają? Because the third person in the plural as well. So remember, we're always using the third person, whether it's in the plural or singular. So gdzie panowie mieszkają? Panowie is a group of men. Jak się czujesz? The same. Jak się pani czuje? How are you feeling? So how are you feeling? How are you feeling? But you are talking to an old lady or your professor. Jak się czujecie? Jak się panie czują? So here we are talking to a group of girls, obviously, or women, telling them, how are you feeling? But we want to be formal. We say, jak się panie, ladies, how are the ladies feeling? So how are the ladies feeling? Jak się panie czują? But I'm talking to them directly, but I don't mention that I'm talking to them. I hope you understand. I'm repeating this for the 1000th time. Okay, there's the imperative form here. I've put two examples. Idź do domu means go home. So idź means go, to, and home, domu. So idź do domu. But when I'm talking to, for example, a patient, and I'm telling my patient to go home, and he's an old guy, an old man, I'm not gonna tell him idź do domu. However, I can, but it's better to be formal and say niech pan idzie do domu. So you're not gonna know what niech pan or niech idzie do domu is unless you have seen my daily verb, because there I explain how the imperative work. You always, in the third person, when you are ordering someone in the third person, you add niech at the beginning. So niech, let him, let pan idzie do domu. Let sir go home. Okay? Idźcie do pracy, you are talking to a group of people to go to work. Niech państwo idą do pracy. Państwo is a group of men and women, okay? So the same here. Niech means let, because this is an imperative. Państwo, the people, mix of male and female, idą do pracy. Okay, this is the third person in the plural. Do pracy, to work. Okay, I'm gonna put here the link of the playlist of the daily word, and you can check it and see the conjugation if you don't know anything about it. Okay, so one last thing. Polish people, while arguing and fighting, still use the formal aspect. So this is, for me, it's weird and it's funny because Polish people are able to still use the formal aspect even if they are fighting and they're about to kill each other. So, for example, you have this zamknij się, for example, means shut up. It's not nice to say it even to your friend, but sometimes you have to, and sometimes you're angry and you tell your friend, shut up, okay? However, for example, I was once in a train and then an old lady was arguing with a girl, no, with a guy because he sat at her place by mistake and he didn't know. So she was arguing, they were arguing together, and then she told him, niech pan się zamknie. So let Mr. shut up. I mean, for me, this is funny because why would you tell someone to shut up and still use the formal aspect? So it's like, just tell him to shut up without being formal to him. It's like being respectful and at the same time telling him to shut up. This is nice to know because, I mean, this is one of the things I love about the Polish language because it is nice. It is really funny sometimes for me, and it is really expressive. It can be really artistic. You can, once you know the words, you can do a set of words and set of sentences for your own, and you can just claim them for your own, saying them and making a whole new neologism for yourself, and it will always make sense because they have a lot of word choice that you can use and a huge vocab that you can use interchangeably. Yeah, so that was it for this video. I hope you understood something, and if you didn't, just write something in the comment. And don't forget to subscribe and like if you liked actually the video, and then see you guys soon. Thank you.